In the secluded valley of Mistral Glen, where the winds whispered through towering pines and the mist clung to the earth like a living veil, lived Thane, a 35-year-old mapmaker whose hands had once traced the contours of uncharted lands with precision and pride. His home, Cartographer's Rest, was a sanctuary of parchment and ink, its walls lined with maps of rivers, mountains, and hidden trails, each a testament to his skill. Thane's eyes held a restless glint, his posture often taut with unspoken tension, for beneath his outward calm lay a soul tormented by inner conflict, a restlessness that had grown since childhood, when his father, a rigid explorer, demanded perfection, and his mother, a dreamer lost to melancholy, offered no solace. He sought inner peace, believing it lay in mastering the world around him, yet it remained elusive, his shadow, a buried fear of inadequacy, casting a persistent shadow over his heart. His days were a map of restless motion. Thane rose with the dawn, his quill scratching across parchment as he charted new paths through Mistral Glen, his work admired by traders and wanderers who relied on his maps. He ventured into the wilds, compass in hand, his steps driven by a need to prove his worth, yet each return to Cartographer's Rest brought a hollow silence. The village square, alive with the hum of community, felt distant, his shadow whispering, "You're never enough." Thane dreamed of peace, a stillness within, but felt it slip through his fingers, his inner landscape a storm he couldn't navigate, his spirit yearning for a resolution he couldn't name. One misty morning, as the valley's fog thickened with the scent of pine, a hooded figure entered Cartographer's Rest, her staff adorned with a compass rose. She studied a map of the glen, then left a worn ledger bound in weathered leather, its edges softened by time. Inside, a note read, "Peace lies within, Jung." Thane, who had once encountered Jung's ideas in a traveler's pack, felt a flicker of intrigue. He opened the ledger, its pages filled with Jung's teachings on individuation, the shadow, and the singular act of self-confrontation as the path to inner peace. The ledger became his guide. That night, Thane dreamed of a misty valley split by a chasm, one side bathed in golden light, stars, rivers, a serene face, the other dark, strewn with crumpled maps and a shadowy figure with his own weary eyes. "You've ignored me," it rasped, its voice a gust of wind. He woke, heart racing, and read Jung's words, "The shadow holds the key to wholeness, face it." His shadow, he realized, was his fear of failure, a legacy of his father's demands, a barrier to the peace he sought. The ledger suggested that the one thing he must do for inner peace was to confront and integrate this hidden self, a journey he now resolved to undertake. Thane began with uncertainty. First, he revisited his craft, sketching a map of his inner world, his father's expectations, his mother's silence, his hand trembling, a faint calm stirring as he faced his past. Jung's guidance on individuation urged him to embrace all aspects of himself. Villagers, noticing his vulnerability, offered quiet encouragement, a tentative connection forming. Second, he meditated on his dream, seeing the figure extend a quill, saying, "Draw me." He woke, mapping his fears, his focus sharpening, peace flickering. Third, he confronted his shadow, writing to his younger self, forgiving his parents' shortcomings, his chest lightening as shame dissolved. Fourth, he shared his journey, hosting a mapping circle, his stories of self-acceptance weaving trust with the glen, their presence a mirror of his growth. His dreams evolved. In the valley, the chasm narrowed, the figure merging with him, holding a compass glowing with light. "You are whole," it said. Thane woke, embracing his anima, his inner feminine intuition, guiding his maps with empathy, and his animus, his inner masculine determination, facing his fears. He channeled the archetype of the explorer, charting new paths, and the sage, sharing wisdom. Cartographer's Rest hummed, maps sold, circles filled, meals shared with friends. A reserved herbalist, Liora, whose solitude echoed his, joined his circles, her gentle insight a balm, her respect a sign of his emerging peace. Shadows persisted. One stormy night, Thane dreamed of the valley flooding, the figure drowning, a voice roaring, "You'll never be at peace." He woke, doubting his path, his hands clutching the ledger. He sought Kael, a storyteller versed in Jungian thought, who said, "Integration spirals, face the fear again." In meditation, Thane asked, "What do you need?" "Trust," it replied, the valley stabilizing as he accepted his imperfections. His resolve strengthened, and he expanded his circles, teaching Mistral Glen to confront their shadows. Mistral Glen transformed. Thane adorned Cartographer's rest with compass roses and golden maps, symbols of his journey, his home a center of peace. His movement grew, with Liora and others thriving by self-confrontation, their presence shifting from turmoil to tranquility. One crisp dawn, a traveler, his cloak tattered, entered seeking direction, his eyes clouded with unrest. Thane welcomed him, saying, "Your peace begins here," guiding him with the ledger, feeling Jung's truth, "The one thing for inner peace is facing your shadow, a lesson to calm all souls." The weathered ledger remained on his shelf, its pages worn but radiant, a beacon for those seeking peace. As months unfolded, Thane and Liora's bond deepened, their shared evenings by the hearth mapping a quiet harmony, her herbs complementing his charts. Liora revealed her own journey of self-doubt, drawn to Mistral by a dream of a glowing compass, synchronicity at play. Together, they transformed Cartographer's rest into a workshop, its walls a gallery of their integrated spirits, attracting villagers who sought guidance and stillness. The community flourished. Kael, inspired by Thane's journey, initiated a youth mapping program, teaching the next generation to chart their inner landscapes, his tales filling the glen with laughter. Liora crafted sachets infused with Thane's map inks, their scents a symbol of balance, sold to fund community projects. Thane noticed a shift in Mistral's rhythm. The mist parted more often, the pines standing taller, as if the valley reflected his inner calm. One summer, as wildflowers bloomed like promises, a caravan arrived, led by a woman named Soren, her face etched with the weariness of a soul at war. She spoke of a vision, a chasm like Thane's dream, leaving her restless. Thane invited her into Cartographer's rest, sharing the ledger's wisdom, guiding her through meditations that unraveled her turmoil. Over weeks, Soren's hands, once idle, began sketching, her eyes brightening as she met a kind carpenter, Erynd, whose steady presence mirrored her newfound peace, their bond a testament to her growth. The glen celebrated with a festival of maps and herbs, charts hung alongside sachets, a celebration of integrated lives. Children danced, their joy weaving through the air, while elders shared tales of their own inner journeys, each story a thread in Mistral's renewal. Thane and Liora led a ceremony, lighting a central fire that symbolized the union of self and peace, its flames casting shadows that danced in harmony. Years passed, and Cartographer's rest evolved into a sanctuary of inner peace, its walls adorned with compass roses, maps, and sachets, a living testament to Thane's journey. He and Liora, now partners, trained a council of mapmakers, each tasked with spreading the lesson of self-confrontation. Soren and Erynd, now community pillars, opened a carpentry mapping studio, their creations, furniture etched with maps, sustaining Mistral's growth. One winter's night, as snow blanketed Mistral Glen, a young man stumbled in, his cloak heavy with frost, his voice silent from strife. He carried a ledger, its cover weathered, seeking Thane's wisdom. The man, named Torin, spoke of a recent awakening that left him torn, his hands unused to creation. Thane recognized the echo of his past, guiding Torin through the ledger's lessons, watching as his eyes brightened with each step, dreams of a mended valley, maps of acceptance, restlessness turning to action, and an encounter with a gentle scribe who became his companion. Torin's revival sparked another cycle, his energy reinvigorating the youth program Kael had started. Decades later, as Thane's hair grayed and his hands trembled with age, he sat by the hearth, Liora beside him, the fire's glow reflecting their shared legacy. Cartographer's rest, now a sprawling haven, hummed with life, mapmakers, herbalists, carpenters, all united by the peace Thane had championed. The weathered ledger, passed to Torin, remained a sacred relic, its pages worn but luminous, a beacon for those navigating the storm of self. Thane gazed at the valley, its mist glowing with a serene light, feeling Jung's truth resonate, the one thing for inner peace is confronting your shadow, a journey that transforms not just one soul, but an entire world, a tale to guide all who seek stillness. The end.